So in the second part of the video, we will see about sexual reproduction in plants. So you all know that flower, it is the reproductive part of the plant, and sexual reproduction is possible by having two gametes. One gamete is the male gamete, another is the female gamete, and when both these gametes they fuse together, they form a zygote. Okay. So if we talk about flowers, we have two categories: a unisexual flower in which either pistil or stamen is present, means a single type of reproductive organ is there, either the male or the female, and a bisexual flower in which both the reproductive organs are there. If we have a look at the structure of the flower, you can see it has the outermost whorl that is formed of sepals, and it is together called as calyx. Then we have is the second whorl that is of the petals, and together all the petals they are called as corolla. Then we have is the androecium. It is the male reproductive whorl. It consists of stamens, and each stamen it is having anther and a filament, and inside the anther there are pollen grains. Then we have is the innermost whorl that is the gynoecium. It is the female reproductive part, and it consists of stigma, style and ovary. Then how does sexual reproduction it takes place? It is with the help of a pollination, and it is the movement of pollen from the anther to the stigma of the flower. Okay, there are two categories: self-pollination and cross-pollination. When a pollen is transferred to the stigma of the same flower or the flowers which are born on the same plant, that is called as self-pollination. And when the pollen is transferred to flowers of the other plants but the same species, then it is called as cross-pollination. In case of pollination, it cannot take place on its own. It has certain agents, means which are helping the flower for the process of pollination. They include insects, wind, water and animals. So if the pollens they have to be pollinated through insects, so what will be there? That the pollens, the flowers they will be having good colored petals. The pollens they will be sticky so that they can stick to the bodies of the insects. If they are to be carried away by wind, the pollens will be produced in large number and they will be very light in weight so that they can float in the air. If they are to be pollinated with the help of water, so they will have certain characteristics like they can float on water. And if they are to be pollinated with the help of animals, then they will also have good nectar, sweet smell and good color, so that the animals they are attracted towards the flowers, and then these pollens can stick onto the skin of the animals. So after carrying of the pollens, there is a process of fertilization. So when the pollination is successful, the pollen joins the eggs present in the ovary and becomes a seed. This process is called as fertilization, means fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete. So what happens to the flower after fertilization? The fertilized ovum, that is zygote, it grows into embryo. The ovule changes into seeds. The ovary, it changes into fruits, and other parts like sepals, petals, they just fall off or wither away. So fruit, it is the ripened ovary, and a seed bearing structure. A fruit has a fruit wall or the pericarp, and the pericarp, it is differentiated into three layers, that is epicarp, the outer layer, mesocarp, the middle layer, and the endocarp, that is the inner layer. So these are the parts of the fruit. This finishes up the revision of the chapter. Kindly go through all the checkpoints, back exercise very carefully, and the previously shared assignments and the assignment links. All the best for your CT.